Take a good look around you right now. Most men today are suffering from the exact same problem, and I'm absolutely certain you've noticed it everywhere you go. They're desperate to appear harmless and safe. Just watch them closely for a moment. They'll suddenly soften their voice halfway through a sentence when they worry they sounded too aggressive or direct. They bury their real thoughts behind safe, boring statements that nobody could possibly disagree with. They force themselves to laugh at jokes they don't actually find funny, all to avoid any awkward tension. They pretend to be easygoing, flexible, and understanding about everything, doing whatever it takes to make sure nobody ever feels threatened or uncomfortable around them. Ask them why they act this way, and they'll tell you they're just being polite, respectful, and considerate of others. But you and I both know what's really happening here. It's pure fear. Fear of arguments and conflict. Fear of being rejected by people they barely know. Fear of standing out from the crowd. Fear of getting labeled as too aggressive, too intense, or too difficult to deal with. They've somehow convinced themselves that disappearing into the background is actually a good thing, that making everyone around them comfortable equals success, that being liked by random strangers matters more than being respected by the people who actually matter in their lives. But then there's you. You don't beg anyone to understand you or approve of your choices. When somebody misunderstands what you meant or why you did something, you don't chase after them desperately trying to explain yourself and fix their perception. You don't twist yourself into uncomfortable shapes just so other people feel comfortable when you're nearby. You move through the world differently. You speak differently. You carry yourself differently. And because you refuse to play by their rules, modern society has only one word ready for you: intimidating. You've heard it before, haven't you? Maybe not directly to your face in those exact words, but you've definitely felt it. People say things like, "He's kind of cold. He's way too intense. There's something off about him that I can't explain. I can't really figure him out or predict what he'll do next." Let me ask you something important. Did you actually hurt any of these people? Did you threaten them in any way? Did you do anything that actually deserves being treated like dangerous? No. Your only crime was refusing to shrink yourself down to make them comfortable. That alone was enough for them to judge you. Here's what Niccolo Machiavelli would say if he could watch your life right now. He wouldn't care at all about how friendly you seem on the surface. He wouldn't care how many people you smile at or how polite your words sound in normal conversations. He would only ask one single question: can this man be easily controlled? Because in a world that runs entirely on manipulation, social pressure, and emotional blackmail, a dangerous man isn't someone who yells the loudest or makes the biggest scene in public. A dangerous man is someone who cannot be easily bent, bought off, or bullied into doing what others want. That kind of man always disturbs people who depend on weakness in others. Think about it for a second. Your ability to stay calm under pressure makes people nervous. Your refusal to explain and justify yourself irritates people who are used to extracting explanations from everyone around them. Your ability to see through games, manipulation tricks, and fake behavior doesn't make you popular. It makes you dangerous to people who need others to stay confused and easy to fool. Now, this video isn't about fake alpha male behavior or acting tough for no reason. I'm not here to teach you how to puff your chest out or act aggressive in front of strangers to impress them. That's just performance. That's insecurity dressed up to look like confidence. This is about something much quieter, much darker, and far more real. This is about the conviction in your eyes that makes people look away because they can't hold your gaze. This is about the way you read people without them knowing they're being studied. This is about the scars you carry inside that change the way you move through the world. The silence you're completely comfortable sitting in while everyone else panics. The discomfort you deliberately choose when everyone else runs toward easy comfort. The opinions you've stopped caring about even when people try to guilt you into caring. The mystery you protect like it's classified government information. These aren't trends you picked up from Instagram or TikTok. These are real signals, deep signals that reveal something important about who you've become through your experiences. So today, we're breaking down 7 clear signs that you have a dangerous, intimidating personality, examined through the cold, calculating eyes of Machiavelli himself. And if you recognize yourself clearly in these signs, understand this simple truth: You were never meant to live like a harmless decoration, sitting on someone's shelf collecting dust and serving no real purpose. You were meant to live as a man that others think twice before trying to control, manipulate, or push around. Before we dive into the signs, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments section. I choose strength over comfort. Let's go. Sign number 1. Eyes that carry conviction. The first place a dangerous man reveals himself isn't through his words or actions. It's directly through his eyes. And you know exactly what I'm talking about here, don't you? Your eyes don't wander nervously around the room searching for social permission before you speak your mind. You don't scan people's faces frantically trying to figure out whether they approve of you or not. Your gaze stays steady, controlled, and completely unapologetic about its intensity. When pressure arrives, when conflict shows up unexpectedly, when someone tries to intimidate you or make you uncomfortable, your eyes don't show panic or fear. They don't dart around desperately looking for an escape route or someone to rescue you. Instead, they show calculation. They show that your brain is processing information, evaluating the situation carefully, and deciding what your next move should be. Picture this scenario. You walk into any room, maybe it's a business meeting, maybe it's just a casual social gathering, or maybe it's an ordinary day at your workplace. When you make eye contact with someone, they feel something they can't quite name. They feel weight and presence, not aggression or hostility, just undeniable presence that can't be ignored. Now compare that to what most men do in the exact same situation. Harmless men have this begging quality written all over their eyes. Their eyes constantly say, "Please don't be upset. It's with me. Please don't misunderstand what I'm saying. Please still like me after I say this." Their eyes are restless and scattered, always moving around, always reacting to everything, constantly searching for that little signal that tells them they're still accepted, still approved of, still safe within the social hierarchy they desperately need. But your eyes operate completely differently. They don't ask for anything from anyone. Machiavelli would judge a man based on this single observation. Do his eyes reveal someone who has already chosen his path and committed to it? Or do they reveal someone still waiting for permission to walk it? A man whose eyes constantly ask questions like, "What should I do here? How should I react to this? What does everyone think I should do?" That man was made to be ruled by others. He's sitting there waiting for directions and instructions. He's waiting for someone stronger to tell him what to think, how to feel, and what to believe about everything. But a man whose eyes quietly say, "I already know what I'm doing and where I'm going," that man cannot be ruled the same way because he doesn't need external validation to move forward. Your eyes carry a quiet certainty that most people don't possess anymore. And here's what happens because of it. When you look directly at people, they feel judged, not criticized or attacked, just measured and evaluated. They sense that you're not just casually looking at them like everyone else does. You're actually seeing them for who they really are. You're seeing past the performance they put on for the world every single day. You're seeing their insecurity hiding behind their fake confidence. You're seeing their lies hiding behind their forced smiles. You're seeing their weakness hiding behind their aggressive behavior and loud voices. And that makes them deeply uncomfortable in ways they can't fully explain or articulate. That's exactly why they make comments like, "Why do you always look so serious? You're way too intense, man. You need to relax a little." What they're really saying underneath those words is, "Your eyes make me feel exposed and vulnerable, and I need you to stop looking at me that way because it's uncomfortable." Here's the reality of the world we're living in right now. Most people today have completely empty eyes. Eyes glued to screens for 12 hours every single day. Eyes mindlessly scanning through hundreds of images, videos, and notifications without processing any of it. Eyes that don't really focus on anything real or meaningful anymore. They're distracted, scattered, and addicted to the next dopamine hit from their phones. But your eyes are actually awake, focused, and present in the moment. And in a world absolutely full of people who aren't really looking at anything anymore, that kind of genuine focus becomes intimidating and threatening. People aren't used to being truly seen anymore by anyone. They're used to being glanced at briefly, ignored completely, or superficially flattered with fake compliments. But when someone actually sees them, really sees them for who they are beneath the mask, It triggers something primal deep inside them. It makes them want to either run away or submit to your frame. Your conviction shows up in your eyes before you even open your mouth to speak. People can immediately tell you've already made firm decisions about who you are and where you're headed in life. They can tell you're not asking for their permission or approval to be yourself. And that, my friend, is exactly what makes you dangerous to people who need others to stay uncertain, confused, and easy to control and manipulate. In a world of empty, addicted, distracted eyes, conviction itself looks dangerous and threatening. Drop this affirmation in the comments. My gaze never wavers. Sign number 2. You read people far beyond their words. Here's something you've probably noticed about yourself for a long time. Most people only hear the words coming out of someone's mouth. But you're watching patterns and behaviors. Let me ask you directly. When someone's talking to you, are you just passively listening to what they're saying? Or are you also carefully watching how they're saying it? You notice small things most people completely miss, don't you? That slight hesitation right before someone tells a lie. That over-explanation when someone's trying desperately to hide something from you. That instant shift in their tone of voice when the power dynamic in the room suddenly changes. You also remember things that others forget immediately. And this part is crucial. You remember exactly who only shows up in your life when they need something from you. You remember who mysteriously disappears the moment you need them for anything. You remember who completely changes their entire personality, depending on who's watching and who's in the room. And here's what separates you from absolutely everyone else around you. You don't always react in the moment when you catch these things. That's the part people don't understand about you at all. You don't call people out right there on the spot in front of everyone. You don't make a dramatic scene or public confrontation. You don't immediately confront them and demand explanations. You just file that information away silently and carefully in your mental database. You allow people to complete their entire performance without interruption. You let them finish their act completely, and then quietly, without any announcement or explanation, you adjust your distance from them strategically. Maybe you slowly cut them off from your life. Maybe you just stop trusting them with important information that matters. Maybe you keep them around physically, but never let them close to you again emotionally. Machiavelli lived in a world built entirely on betrayal, ambition, and hidden motives everywhere. He understood that a ruler lives or dies based on one single skill: how clearly and accurately he can see human nature beneath the masks people wear. You're doing the exact same thing in your modern life. You're scanning every interaction for signs of loyalty, fear, greed, and envy. You're tracking people's real motivations even when they don't know they're revealing them to you. And no, this doesn't make you paranoid or crazy. There's a massive difference between paranoia and observation that people don't understand. Paranoid people see threats that don't actually exist anywhere. They imagine conspiracies everywhere they look. They think everyone's out to get them personally. But you're just observant and aware. You see threats that actually do exist in reality, but that everyone else is too naive, too distracted, or too desperate for approval to notice or acknowledge. You watch body language carefully. You listen for tone changes in people's voices. You pay close attention to who someone becomes when they think nobody important is watching them. You notice how people treat service workers, waiters, and cleaners. You notice how quickly people talk badly about others who aren't in the room to defend themselves. You notice how fast they switch sides when it benefits them personally. And here's what absolutely drives manipulative people crazy about you. Their usual weapons don't work on you at all. Think about the standard tools manipulators use on everyone: guilt, trips, fake flattery, artificial charm, emotional manipulation, and playing the victim. They throw these tactics at you confidently expecting them to work, and it's like watching someone try to use a key that doesn't fit the lock at all. It just doesn't work no matter how hard they try. You see exactly what they're doing in real time, and your face shows them that you see it clearly. So what do they do next? They accuse you of being too critical, too analytical, too cold and calculating. They say you're overthinking everything or reading too much into simple situations. But what they really mean is, I can't control you the way I easily control everyone else around me. And that's a serious problem for me. See, most people desperately want to be taken at face value. They want you to just believe whatever they say without any questions. They want you to accept their words as absolute truth and ignore everything else you observe. But you don't do that anymore. You measure people's actions carefully against their words. And when those two things don't line up, you know exactly which one to trust. That makes you dangerous to anyone who relies on deception to get what they want. That makes you dangerous to anyone who needs you to stay naive and easy to fool. Because once you clearly see the game they're playing, you can't be played the same way anymore. When people realize you see straight through them, they immediately stop seeing you as harmless. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I see beyond words. Sign number 3. Your battle scars changed your aura. Life forced this into you through harsh experiences. You've known real financial pressure that keeps you awake at 3 in the morning, doing calculations, the kind that makes you check your bank account multiple times before buying groceries. You've been betrayed by people you trusted completely, people you would have defended without hesitation. Then one day you realized they were never on your side. You've experienced losses that made you question everything about yourself. Times when you fell so hard you didn't know if you'd recover. And here's the worst part. There were periods where no one came to help you. No safety net, no family with money, no friends with solutions. Just you, the mess, and a choice. Collapse or harden. You chose to harden. Those experiences rebuilt you fundamentally. They changed your nervous system, how you process threats, and how you evaluate people. You stopped expecting fairness or believing everyone has good intentions. You stopped giving access to your inner world freely. Machiavelli trusted men who'd seen chaos more than those raised in comfort. A man never tested is just theory he might fold when reality gets harsh. But a man shaped by storms is harder to move, scare, or manipulate. You carry that now. Even when calm, there's heaviness to your presence people feel without understanding why. You don't react to small drama because you've seen actual problems. Someone complaining about their coffee doesn't move you. Gossip doesn't get your energy. Meltdowns over minor issues don't pull you into chaos. You've dealt with real stakes where lives could change. So when people bring manufactured drama, you look at them like, that's it? They feel your judgment without words. They sense you've survived darkness. People keep distance because they can't label what they feel around you. Your invisible scars show in how you move with quiet confidence. Don't panic when plans collapse, and handle pressure without blaming others. You know rock bottom. Threats don't shake you like they shake people who've always had cushions. You've been broke, betrayed, and broken and survived every time without rescue. Now you carry that survival like armor. Soft people feel uncomfortable around you because they sense you've been through fire while they've been sheltered. They can't relate. They might call you jaded or guarded, but your walls exist for good reason, built from experience, not fear. Your scars don't make you bitter. They make you immune to manipulation. And immunity always looks dangerous to the infected. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Pain forged my power. Sign number 4. You are comfortable with silence. Can you sit in complete silence for 5 minutes without grabbing your phone or starting conversation? Most people can't. Soft men treat silence like a threat. You treat it like a weapon. You don't desperately fill empty space with noise or perform emotions to entertain others. You sit in silence completely unbothered while everyone scrambles nervously to break the quiet. Here's what happens. When you stay quiet, others reveal themselves automatically. They justify decisions you never questioned, overshare details you never asked for, laugh nervously at nothing, over-explain simple things. They feel pressure from your presence, not your words. Your silence creates a vacuum most people rush to fill. You let it sit heavy and watch what people do with it. That's power. Machiavelli understood. Power lies in what you hold back, not what you express. A ruler who talks too much reveals too much, showing his hand, exposing strategies. But one who listens and speaks selectively is dangerous because no one knows his thoughts. You've learned words carry more weight when you use fewer. People listen more carefully when you're not always talking. When you finally speak after silence, it lands differently, pure signal demanding attention. People misinterpret your silence. Why so serious? You're too intense. What they mean, your silence forces me to hear my own weakness. I need you to talk, so I stop feeling this discomfort. Silence reveals their nervousness, desperate need for validation, dependence on noise to avoid being alone with thoughts. You're comfortable in your head. You've sat with yourself and faced your demons. Silence doesn't scare you. Most people fear it because it forces self-confrontation. You've already had that confrontation. Now silence is just another tool. When you're comfortable with silence, you don't need noise to prove you exist. That deeply unsettles anyone who does. Drop this affirmation in the comments. Silence reveals truth. Sign number 5. You choose discomfort over safety. When did you last choose the harder path when easier was available? Most sacrifice anything to stay comfortable. Health, potential, self-respect. You're different. You'll sacrifice comfort itself to become unbreakable. You train your body when sleeping in would be easier. You work on projects when you don't feel like it. You say yes to physical pain, mental challenges, scary risks. While everyone seeks least resistance, you deliberately choose most resistance. Why? You don't trust easy lives. Comfort has a hidden price: dependence, fragility, decay. Every easy choice makes you weaker. Every avoided discomfort makes you more fragile. Every shortcut dulls your edge. You've seen this happen, so you do hard things purposely. Wake at 5 when you could sleep till 8. Push through painful workouts. Take terrifying projects. Put yourself in growth-forcing situations instead of comfortable ones. Machiavelli observed, "Men who prepare during peace survive during war." You live like the storm's always coming. You're not waiting for life to force strength, you're choosing it now. Strengthening your body so it won't fail when it matters. Sharpening your mind for clear thinking under pressure. Cutting habits that make you weak, soft, dependent. You're not doing this for approval or social media likes. You understand the world is unpredictable. When things go sideways, and they always do, you want to be ready. Your discipline makes regular people uncomfortable. They feel exposed next to someone consistently doing what they avoid. So they label you obsessed, extreme, unbalanced. They need to believe you're weird because otherwise they're just weak, and they can't handle that truth. But you don't care. You're building what they can't see, preparing for battles they don't know are coming. While they optimize for short-term comfort, you optimize for long-term resilience. When the world gets hard, and it always does, you'll be the one standing calm while everyone panics. Drop this affirmation in the comments. I choose the hard path. Sign number 6. You don't worry about others' opinions. The easiest way to control someone? Make them terrified of being disliked. Once they fear losing approval, you can make them abandon beliefs and betray themselves. This doesn't work on you anymore. You don't crumble when criticized or rewrite your values to fit in. You don't need validation to keep moving. Opinions don't hold power over you. When you say no, you say it directly without drowning it in apologies. You don't perform guilt. You say no and move on. You walk away from draining people, incompatible trends, situations requiring you to pretend. You accept some will always misunderstand you. They'll create wrong stories about who you are. You're fine with that. Machiavelli knew, a man living for public opinion can never hold real power. Choices that matter come with resistance. If you must please everyone, you'll never do what's right, only what's accepted. You've learned to live misunderstood, okay with being disliked. If it means staying true to yourself, you're selective. You care about opinions from those who've earned respect, shown loyalty, proved good judgment. But strangers' random ideas are just noise. People hate this because they can't control you with guilt or shame. When they realize approval withdrawal doesn't work, they call you selfish, arrogant, cold. Living for others' approval is invisible prison. Pleasing everyone means standing for nothing. You walk your path, even if it costs friendships or makes you someone's villain. You don't want universal approval, you want self-respect. Those goals rarely align. Once others' opinions lose grip, so does their power to bend you. Drop this affirmation. I stand firm alone. Sign number 7. You carry mystery. We live in an oversharing age. Meals, feelings, plans, Arguments, everything broadcast constantly. Not you. You don't tell your life story to strangers or post every emotion online. You share selectively. In a world addicted to exposure, private men stand out. People feel invisible unless broadcasting. You don't need witnesses to feel real. Mystery itself is power. People don't know your scars story, what broke you, how you rebuilt, what you're planning, or how far you'd go if crossed. Machiavelli understood. Secrecy is leverage. The less known about your plans or limits, the harder to predict, corner, or control you. Mystery isn't pretending, it's refusing to hand your map to those who haven't earned trust. When they can't read you, they must respect you. Your mystery creates uncertainty, making people careful around you. When they don't know your boundaries, they hesitate to push. You're private because experience taught oversharing weakens position. You show only what you choose. When people can't figure you out, they stop treating you like decoration and start seeing you as someone requiring respect. Drop this affirmation. Mystery is my power. We've covered 7 signs: conviction, filled eyes, reading beyond words, battle, changed aura, silence, comfort, choosing hard paths, opinion indifference, and mystery. These prove one truth: you can't be pushed, bought, or broken easily. In a manipulation-filled world, that makes you dangerous. But Machiavelli would urge, you need discipline with strength. Dangerous men without discipline ruin themselves, but dangerous men with discipline quietly shift every room's balance. If you see yourself here, stop apologizing for strength or control resistance. Don't let weak people convince you it's wrong to be unbendable. Refine this edge. Sharpen it. Aim it at worthy goals. The world needs men who handle pressure without breaking. Spot lies instantly. Sit comfortably alone. Move through chaos, maintaining control, and live unmeasured by approval counts. You weren't designed as everyone's comfort zone. Your purpose is being strong, effective, resilient enough that no one easily manipulates, buys, or intimidates you. That's not a flaw. That's your advantage where most fold at first resistance. To turn intimidating presence into strategy, leverage, and life control. Subscribe and keep watching. These lessons are only for those ready to stop apologizing and start living with strength. Drop this final affirmation: I am built unbreakable. See you next lesson.